Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming for Girls for STEM. Guys, I'm so excited today. I have a very special visitor. Her name is Ekwueme Mary, and we are so glad to have her. And remember, guys, we always bring you different types of engineers right here. Remember, we are here to encourage girls to pursue science and technology. We are here to showcase other models that are pursuing science and technology. And we're also here to talk about science, talk about technology, so that, just the girls can have a real good feel of science and technology. So today we have Ekwueme Mary. Oh my God, guys, I've been trying to get her to speak to her, and I know she's busy. She goes, she's going to tell us more what she's doing, but I'm just so glad today that she's here. So, Mary, let's go dive into it. So, tell me about yourself. What's your name? What do you do? Give us a background of what are you doing? Yes. And
Thank you for having me.
Where are you right now, guys? Where is she pouncing from? Let's find out. Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Like she said already, I'm Ekwueme Mary from Nigeria. Currently, I'm in my National Youth Service. Actually, a National Youth Service is a 1 year mandatory program for Nigerian graduates.
Yes.
So during this program, these graduates are being posted to different sectors, example like schools, banks, and other industries to gain work experience. And in the end of 1 year, they are given a certificate which will enable them get a paying job. So that's what I do currently. So I was opportune to be posted to a school where I take one of the STEM subjects, which is biology to be precise. Actually, I'm a biologist. I read biology in higher school.
Wow, wow, that's so interesting. Thank you so much for having you. So what are you studying exactly?
I actually read a biology education in my
Yes.
university.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so
And
I
what
have a
go ahead.
okay, so it's a bachelor degree in biology.
Wow, that's interesting. So
Yes.
what do you want to major exactly? Do you want to be um so can you tell us exactly when you become a biologist, what do you really do when you start working exactly? Yeah.
Okay, the aspect of biology I read it's actually educational biology. So
Yes.
majorly we're expected to be teachers.
Okay.
We're supposed to be in schools teaching, or you end up as a lecturer, or you can actually major in other aspects like environmental biology, microbiology, which enables you to work in the laboratory or a clinical section.
Wow, that's interesting,
Yes,
guys. See, you can be a teacher, you can be working on investigating in the lab,
yes,
trying to understand like research. Wow, that's so
yes.
interesting. Thank you so much. And I see you're so passionate about STEM. So, can you give us a little bit background of how you got into STEM? How did you get into STEM? How did you start liking this subject of STEM? Could you give us a detailed information, and also how you started now advocating for STEM kids? How did that start?
Okay, thank you very much. I started loving STEM when I was a child
Yes,
because I had two older brothers who happen to be medical doctors, and
yes,
one is currently a surgeon.
yes.
So while growing up, I usually go to them for mathematics assignment, and they were able to dissolve the assignments for me without stress. So at some point, I'm like,
Yes,
I just want to be like them, and
yes.
I admire what they do. So getting to higher school, I picked interest in biology. So that was how my interest started. So I read biology because I wanted to find out more about life on Earth, understand how human beings interact with their environments and other organisms within the environment. That was actually my major interest.
Wow, that's so interesting. And so you have
Thank you.
brothers who are already in STEM, right? And
Yes,
remember, we always talk about how can parents, how can aunties, how can uncles encourage girls to pursue science and technology. So we always say that when they are surrounded by people, they are surrounded by doctors, engineers, and not only surrounded, even if they see them on a distance, for example, on the TV, or they read about them, so they can
Yes.
become interested. Wow, that's interesting. So I know you've answered this question again. I always like asking my viewers. So I'll take
Okay.
you back when you were 5 years old, Mary. Imagine when you're 5, 6, 7. What's happening in your life? What's going on there? Where are you? Because we would like to understand how young people start becoming interested in STEM. So I know you mentioned about your brothers being in there. So what's happening? Is your mother talking about science, or you're just seeing that from your brothers when you were young? What was going on?
When I was young, when I was 5 years old, I think that was when I actually started knowing myself as a human. So
Yes,
I would what I can remember precisely was me loving to count numbers with counters.
yes.
Yeah, so I usually go around, pick counters, and then try to count larger numbers with them. So, but what actually motivated me to go towards that direction was because my dad happens to be a teacher. So he would actually want you to just get busy with your book, find your hands around something, and you just don't have to be idle. So it was a major motivation, but I knew that I was always playing with counters, trying to make numbers with them. And there's this thing I could always remember. My mom will always say that I tend to fix chairs and start teaching them. I know it's funny. So that was
It's a really,
it.
you know what? Please tell us. That's a really, really good example of how people start getting interested. Yeah, go ahead.
So I will always gather chairs and get a cane. And funny enough, I gave the chairs names and I was treating them like students. So that was where my teaching career started, unknown to me.
Wow. Wow. And that's when you were young, and your dad was already a teacher by that time.
Yes, ma.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so now you're growing up, and then now the interest starts getting, more and more when your brothers are now doctors, and they are. You said there's
Yes,
a,
I
a
have two.
surgeon.
Yes, two medical doctors. One is a surgeon currently.
Wow, that's really amazing, amazing. I
Thank
think your
you.
dad really did a good job, and just that surrounding of being with your brothers, being with someone who is doing something really helps us understand where we can go. And I was reading
Yes.
something on LinkedIn. Someone was expressing how just the environment around you would really, really encourage you to
Yeah.
even aim high, or to equate yourselves to those around you. And that's why we encourage that, we either listening to YouTube, like this platform, or searching for things online that
Nine,
are
yes.
related to science, or maybe you ask a friend who's an engineer or a doctor, you introduce your child so they can interview them,
They
right?
can learn,
Yeah,
yes.
so they can learn. And that's how we are trying to establish, how do people like you, Mary, Ekwueme Mary, start liking interest, and how did you get to where you are? So now we are seeing some pattern in your life around you that's encouraging you, especially your brothers, setting a way for you. That's really interesting, and thank you so much for sharing that. So can we also
Thank you.
dive a little bit on so what do you do when you go to teach to your kids? What is the most interesting thing that you find? Can you share with my viewers so they can
Okay.
learn and know exactly how it feels to be that?
Wow, it's actually a beautiful experience to get to interact with little minds. So
Yes,
I,
yes,
I actually sometimes I see myself as a mind surgeon because you can actually play with the kids' mind. At that
yes,
point, I would say they are vulnerable. Permit me to use that word
yes,
because
correct.
you can play with their minds and you
Mm-hmm.
can encourage them to pursue a particular career, especially when they see you as a role model. So I try as much as I can to be a role model to them, tell them what they need to know, tell them what is on ground. Like currently, I would say tech is thriving among the STEM subjects.
Yes.
So I encourage them at that tender age. But would I let me say I take a higher class because
Yes.
I'm taking biology, so I take a senior class. So I
Correct.
encourage them to find their hands around STEM, try to
Mm-hmm.
learn a new skill that has to do with technology outside the classroom work.
Yes.
So we encourage them to go for extra classes that has to do with STEM. You could learn data analysis. Like myself, I intend to move into tech
Yes.
afterwards, after my national youth service. So I
Mm-hmm.
intend going transiting into STEM, so tech instead. Sorry, so I
Yes.
could gain more experience in STEM. So I also advise my students to go for that, learn more during your vacations. Just find yourself doing something different.
Wow, wow. That's a mind of a person who's so passionate about STEM, and you are still going to school and you still want to encourage someone. And you know what, Mary? I always talk about a blue rope, to throw a blue rope to someone coming behind
Yes,
us. And what
yes,
what do I say about the blue rope? I always say, like, if you see someone wants to is looking for a blue rope, and what is a blue rope? A blue rope is a way of climbing up. So
yes.
you have to help them, pull them using
Pull
that
them,
blue.
yes.
Yes, and we also encourage those people that are looking for a blue rope to be talking, to be asking, have you seen the blue rope? Have you seen the blue rope? How does the blue rope? Oh, it looks like this. It's small, it's twisted. Why do you have to always say that? Because when you say it loud, somebody might have seen the blue rope, and the blue rope can be opportunities.
It
It can
is.
be something that you don't know that some people know. And that's why
No.
we need to be voicing out as women trying to encourage girls, and to also throw a rope on someone else so that they can also join us. Wow, that's so
Mm,
interesting. So what is the
thank
most
you.
subject that you like teaching the kids when you're teaching them? That's so interesting to you.
Oh, the most interesting subject still remains my
Yes.
biology.
It still remains your biology.
Yes, because I actually want these students to understand their body,
Yes.
understand what happens inside their body. That's the internal organs, than
Correct.
waiting for someone to tell them what's actually happening. So sometimes I could tell them that you are actually your own doctor. So if you
Yes.
can understand what's happening in your body, how your body reacts to substance, what you need to do, and then you're actually your own doctor.
Yes.
So it's actually interesting to bring biology, which is a STEM subject, to these kids, and motivate them to understand it, become a mentor for them to
Yes.
understand it. So biology is actually the best subject for me to teach.
Wow, that's interesting. So I'll take
Thank
it
you.
a notch up. I work for like space missions, and I like reading about space and in space beyond, and how also technology is taking care of people in space. Due to
Okay.
technology, now they are able to understand how the astronauts are feeling back there in space. Can you
In
imagine?
space.
Yes, they can know if they are sick, if they
Sick,
don't
yes.
feel well, if they are weak. So, what do you think about that technology? Any comment that I want to hear from you, since you love biology? What do you think about treating people virtually from a distance, especially astronauts who are in space, who
Okay.
are there, and we are here on Earth?
On
Can
earth.
you make any comments about how you feel about that? Is it exciting, and why is it exciting to you? Maybe you can also go share with the kids to tell them that now technology, we want to start treating patients from
From
afar.
a distance.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so for me, it's actually an exciting experience. Like, I've read this book where there's no doctor,
Yes.
and coming to hear that patients can be treated from a distance. So
Yes.
it's actually an interesting and exciting, well, okay, it's an exciting moment or exciting experience. Let's take it to be a good experience. So For me, before you
Uh-huh.
could say you're sick, you should have understood your body,
Correct.
how it works,
Mm-hmm.
and how you feel when you are down.
Yes.
So at that point, if you do not understand your body, for me, I'll
Mm-hmm.
take myself as a perfect example.
Yes.
When I move to a new environment,
Mm-hmm.
I do not take water, I do not just drink their water or
Correct.
eat their fish,
Yes.
because I might end up having diarrhea.
Correct.
So because I've been able to study my system to that point to understand that this is what happens when I do something in a neutral environment that is not familiar to me.
Yes.
So I'm able to take precautions when due. So for me, for people on space, it's
Yes.
actually very interesting to understand your body and give feedback to your doctor that this is what is happening to me.
Yes.
And when you ask me, I would actually say that this is actually the work of biotechnology.
I'm telling you. And the other
Yes.
thing they say that when whenever they're about to have, for example, like a heart not even a heart attack, but if they're about to have asthma, the body
Okay.
produces certain type of chemical reaction in the body before even the asthma comes out. So
Okay. Yes. Yes.
you know that, right? So it
Yes.
produces a certain chemical in the body cells. I think it also comes out such
Through the
that
nose tree.
yes,
Yes.
you can capture that scent or
Yes.
somewhere somehow. So that's what the technology has done. So in space, they can capture that chemical right away, and they can tell this person is about to start going into having an attack, and they can do
Yes.
something from virtually. So
Yes.
it's so exciting how science,
Nice.
biology is just amazing to help us understand ourselves and the environment. And I always talk
Yes.
about how why girls should be encouraged to pursue STEM. You know, they can understand their environment better. They can understand
Yes.
their body better. They can understand just a lot of things around them. STEM opens a lot of skills that
Yes.
you can utilize, have a career, and also just to understand your environment at large. Wow. So, Mary, what can you say to a girl growing up? I would say maybe in the remote area so much. One thing I would say, of course, I would say I'm in United States, and I'm privileged to have some of the resources around me. I do understand that, but I also have a
Okay.
heart for those that are out somewhere, those that don't have those resources. So, what would you say about a girl growing up in a very remote place? How can they learn and want to do STEM? Can you speak to that girl out there? How
Okay.
can they? Yes.
Thank you very much. To every girl out there in the remote area, this is what I'll say to you. STEM is actually a very good opportunity, and without resources, I would say it's not really a palatable experience. But when you find a mentor or a guide, for instance, I'll use myself as an example. I was posted here from the National Youth Service Board to take care of kids in school, and this is actually a remote area. And
Wow.
when I got in here, I actually found out that their libraries were bad and all of that,
Mhm.
but I had to lay my hands around it and fix a library for them.
Yes.
But when I got here, I discovered a lot of things were not in place because it's actually a remote area. And
Mhm.
sorry to say, most of them have not seen a sanitary pad before.
Wow. Yeah.
So when we got here, we just decided to fix it and tell them about it, and that was it. So the point is, when you find this person who has an idea
Mm-hmm.
in your environment, hence we were being posted here, so you
Mm-hmm.
can see that person as a mentor, draw closer to the person, and see how you can learn from this person.
Mm-hmm.
So in essence, what I'm saying is this: get a mentor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Get a mentor, stick to him or her, try to learn. And whereas you can't get a mentor At least we see these things on televisions, we hear
Yes.
them on radio, but you just find a way to lay your hands on them, and it's actually going to be worth it in the end.
Wow. That's a very, very good encouragement. So, Mary, you really, really encourage the kids so in detail. I see you have this passion about STEM. What really, really drives you? What's behind that passion of driving this STEM? Could you share with my viewers?
Okay, my major drive, like I said, is I actually want to understand life on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding how we just got here. Well, how did we get here in the first place? That was my major drive. I want to
Yes,
know how we got here. How did we see these animals around us? And
yes.
they are all here, we're interacting and everything. So, my major drive is actually to understand human beings and
Mm-hmm.
how they interact with their environment, non living and non living inclusive, where we have the climate and temperature and everything. So, I just really want to understand what happens here on Earth, life on Earth. That has been my major drive.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. And Mary, you know
Thank
what?
you.
I'll tell you something. Most of the engineers here, scientists, student engineers, and just healthcare professionals, they talk about their curiosity that has driven them. And it's amazing that even you are talking about curiosity. You're already saying, I wanted to understand how are human beings made, my environment around me. And same thing, even me when I was back home, because I was born and raised in Zambia. When I was
Well,
back home, I was thinking when I see a plane flying, I was curious. Will I
yeah,
ever get on that plane one day? Will I ever experience this? And also, just my environment. Who lives outside this country? Who are
yeah,
they? What kind of people? So that curiosity will take us very far. And thank
yes.
you so much. You explained it very well. How
Thank you.
where your drive comes from. It's your curiosity that's driving you, wanting to learn more, wanting to know more. So that's really interesting. And thank you so much because most of the engineers, we're trying to learn from you guys, scientists, engineers, healthcare professionals. We're trying to learn from you as mothers, as students. How do they think? How did their life start? How can we also be like them? And especially you are still going to school, you are also encouraging other students. This is really, really amazing. And would
Thank
like
you.
to see your space, watch your space and what you're doing. It's just amazing. We really, really
Thank
do
you.
appreciate. So, and then again, so what kind of kids do you deal with? Those that you encourage STEM, because you are a STEM advocate. What age group are you dealing with exactly?
Okay, currently it's actually 14 to 18 years old.
Wow.
But I wish I could actually lay my hands on those within the age of 5
Yes.
to 13 because their minds are more fragile compared to those of 14 to 18.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, so
And
it's actually sorry.
no, go ahead.
Okay, it's actually very interesting when a kid, you have to, as a kid, you have to start early.
Yes.
That way it sticks. So when you're starting early, you discover that this whole thing you're doing becomes more like a lifestyle than
Yes.
when you're trying to learn it at a certain age that you've already know what you want to do. But when you
Mhm.
start as a kid, it becomes a lifestyle and it becomes very easy to achieve.
You are right, spot on. The other thing is, remember, most kids, most girls, they are afraid to do science classes and mathematics.
Yes,
At the age, especially anytime after 15, somebody has already messed up with their mind and they've told them that math is hard. And guess what? That's why I've been trying to say math is not hard. Who said math
math
is hard? Because these kids, when they are fragile at that age, they have to be told that math is not hard.
not hard.
And
Yes,
I remember I've always been saying, the way I encourage kids, I say, Math is not hard. All we do is look for X. X
Yes.
will start changing later on as
Yes, we're
and then
always
they start,
looking for X.
we are all looking for X. That's it. I told that to
Yes.
my son. He bought that and he started loving math. I told him we are only looking for X. After that, X starts changing. They start calling it differentiation. You know how the math starts
Yes,
getting harder.
yes.
They
Differentiation, algebra,
it's
linear
all
equations.
linear equation. We are looking for X. It's either X is in an angle or it's somewhere sitting. We take it out. Those are derivatives. We pop it
Yes,
in differentiation or derivatives, whatever that may be.
yes.
But all we are playing with is X to find out what is happening to X. There is nothing that we are doing. It's just looking for X.
X,
So that's
exactly.
how a young mind can be encouraged until when they start growing, they realize math is just part of life. But somehow, when they start growing, they are intimidated and they feel like math is so hard, they can do it. And once they lose that zeal, that's it. They
Yes,
think that they can't do it. But it all, determination and also the state of mind. Think
yes,
like, it's not hard. And when you say that they need to be trained as soon as possible when they are young, I really really agree with you, and that's why we are here on this platform. Oh my God, Mary, thank you so much. So Mary, I would
thank you,
like you
ma'am.
to say the last word, whatever you want to say on this interview. Please go ahead. I'll give you time to say a minute, or what you want to say, or what you want to encourage, your last words.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Okay, to the girl out there, to every girl out there, STEM is easy. STEM
Mhm.
is something you can achieve. Once you put your mind to it, you can achieve. What I want to say to you is put 1% effort every day and make it count.
Wow,
Good
wow.
luck.
Yes, yes, and thank you so much. And remember, guys, STEM is a very good career. It's a very lucrative career. So make sure you can do it. It's not hard. Even us women, we can do it. You see
Yes.
us right here. We are a testimony of being in STEM and trying to stay in STEM and continue being in STEM. Wow, thank you so much, Mary. Again,
You're
guys,
welcome.
Mary is bouncing from Nigeria. And what exactly city are you in?
Port Harcourt.
Port Harcourt.
Yes, but
Yes.
currently I'm in Bayelsa State.
Wow. So, guys,
Yes.
say hi to Mary and make sure we will listen to her again and to see what she's doing and how she's supporting those girls in Nigeria. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Mary. We really appreciate, and we hope you can come back soon and talk to us.
Thank you, Ma. Do have a wonderful time.
You too.